Hi, how is everyone doing today? And welcome back to the channel. We are here to talk about the NBA MVP. And let's get through a quick laundry list of things real quick before we get straight into this. I know I don't have any sheets on my bed right now. I live in a house with 3 people, okay? Laundry gets a little bit of a struggle sometimes, and I'm bad about laundry, so it's nothing to do with them. It's just all me. I can't do laundry for crap, and I got behind. Listen, feel free to make fun of me in the comments all you want. Second, I do apologize if previous videos have been struggling with audio quality. I am struggling a tiny bit with trying to make sure my audio is pretty good and even and normalized. And this microphone has had some troubles with volume control, and so has my voice. And I've also had to be quieter on some recordings and louder on others. So I do apologize. It's gonna range a little bit. I'm trying to get more higher quality microphones and sound systems and things like that. I'm also trying to save up for a new camera, so things are gonna get better for the channel, but the quality of what I'm saying through my mouth is gonna stay the same. And we're just gonna get straight into the NBA MVP. Now, I wanna make it clear, I am recording this as of Sunday, April 3rd. We have a few games left in the NBA season, folks, before we get right into playoff season. And I will say, I do think the MVP should be said after the playoffs or right before it. It's a regular season award. I do kind of wish there was an MVP of the playoffs, or you could take that into account. But I wish the MVP, since it's a regular season award, was actually announced in a couple of days, honestly, so that we could go watch the MVP, go play. I mean, I go and think about the Hakeem Olajuwon, David Robinson matchup when David Robinson won the MVP over Hakeem, and Hakeem took that personally, just like Michael Jordan did, and went in and I think dropped 60 or something in the playoffs because he felt so slighted in the MVP race. Now tell me, if Giannis Antetokounmpo wins the MVP over Joel and Joel goes and drops 50, would that not be more entertaining for the entire NBA? Because for personal reasons, I think that would be fantastic, but now we have to go watch a award show where maybe, who knows, I could see end up being Kyle Lowry goes up and slaps Drake or something. Who knows? I don't know what could happen at award shows anymore. But we got to get straight into this, because I'm not going to really talk about who I think is the MVP, because everyone's talking about it and everyone has a different opinion. I'm going to more talk about everyone's opinion and what are the justifications for the MVP, because this year has been one of the best races of all time, in my opinion, of my lifetime, honestly. I don't know who's going to win the MVP, honestly, and all the votes have kind of leaned towards Jokic, but things have swayed a little bit towards Giannis, and Giannis has made a very good case, and honestly, that's who I'm picking for the MVP on my personal ballot. That means nothing to the NBA world, but I kind of want to look into the other reasons that people have been having for the MVP, because it's so interesting to me, because it feels like it fluctuates by the tide, by the season, by everything. Everyone's reasonings have changed per year. I've seen my own friends say, oh, this guy should be the MVP because he's the best scorer on the best team. Well, we're looking at Devin Booker at that reason. I don't think Devin Booker should be in the conversation, nor should Ja Morant or Jason Tatum. Those 3 are fantastic players. I'm not saying that they're discredited, but there is a top 3 for a reason, and it's Joker, Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Those are 3 kings right now that should be in the MVP race. And I honestly think Embiid might be 3rd on that totem pole. Now, he's a fantastic player. He's had a fantastic season. I just think maybe trading for Harden kind of took it down a little bit. Now that was a championship move, and they go win the championship. None of this matters. None of this matters as long as you win a championship. That goes for most sports, honestly. Giannis has had a fantastic season, and a lot of people are discrediting that. I made a whole video on how people need to stop disrespecting Giannis. I also just read his book, which is a fantastic read. If anyone's looking for a good book, go read that book. Jokic, I would be completely fine with. Honestly, he's been my pick for a good chunk of this season, but going into looking at the deeper stats of it and really watching the games, I mean, it's a coin flip in all honesty. I'm not saying Giannis is heads and tails above everyone else, because it's been a coin flip the entire year. It's honestly been a 3-sided coin, if we're being completely honest. Spin it and hopefully maybe one of us get it correctly. And there's going to be a lot of people pissed off on who ends up winning this. I don't know who could honestly win this, but let's get straight into what the point of this video is, because I've been rambling on for a while. I've seen many different reasons this year on why this player should win. For example, Devin Booker. The most common MVP criteria is you're the best player on the best team. Devin Booker is not the best player on his own team for a good majority of this year. Now, when Chris Paul went down for 8-something games, he was the best player. By far, he stepped up. He had a fantastic good stretch of games. He's had a fantastic year overall. But that does not constitute an automatic MVP. That team is built fantastic. I mean, there's no way to build a better team than what the Suns have done. And Chris Paul is playing fantastic ball, and Devin Booker deserves all the flowers, but not MVP level flowers when you're comparing to the other storylines of the top three. Then you have Jason Tatum. People are saying, well, he turned around this team. Marcus Smart's playing fantastic. I think that was a collective effort. Now, Jason Tatum is creeping in the top 10 NBA player level, and we need to talk about that in a separate video because he has played fantastic this year. And the Celtics have honestly been remarkable. They've gone all the way to a 1 seed, and I think Jason Tatum has an easier shot than Devin Booker. Now, I think that's like a 0.1% chance of them winning an MVP, but I would look at Jason Tatum potentially winning MVP next year. Luka, another guy that people have thrown into the conversation. He's putting up ridiculous stats. He's the only player in the NBA that is dropping 28, 8, and 8 on a nightly basis, according to averages. He's playing fantastic basketball. But the problem that I'm having is the other guys are just having better seasons. That's the truth of it for most reasons. I mean, we could try to fit these criterias and these storylines into the top three, but the truth of it is Nikola Jokic, with two of his main stars down, are keeping the Nuggets as a viable playoff team and a dangerous playoff team, and his playmaking and his heliocentric, shout out Rusty Buckets for giving me that word, but we have to give him credit for taking that team. I mean, that's a Russell Westbrook type of carry. Not saying the Nuggets are bad. Bones Nyland is a fantastic player, not to mention they got Will Barton and a lot of good guys, not great guys, around him. So I think Nikola Jokic deserves that as he's carrying another great team to a potential dangerous playoff run. And I think he's playing remarkable. He's also getting better on the defensive end, which was a crutch on his part. And there doesn't seem to be a ton of voter fatigue with him. I know everyone wants a new MVP when it comes to every year, but Nikola Jokic, I mean, he's gotten better from this previous year. And I think he deserved his MVP last year, and he deserves a good shot this year. Moving on to Embiid. Embiid has played fantastic separately without James Harden. That stretch that he was having, he was one of the most dominant big men we have seen in a long time by the force and physicality that he had. I know a lot of people haven't been a big fan of him as of recent with the foul baiting that he consistently has been doing over the past couple years. Now the spotlight's more on him. He got rid of Ben Simmons. I think his storyline of not having to deal with Ben, or really having to deal with it early in the season and persevering and playing such good basketball, but I just don't see him as the MVP compared to the other two guys. I might be alone in that. I know there's a lot of Philly fans that really believe he deserves to be the MVP, and he has really led that team to a really strong start. I think out of the three, he might have the best roster though. Now that's tough comparing to the Bucks, but I think when it comes to star power, I mean, you have Maxey, Tobias Harris, James Harden. You have Matisse Thybulle, who's not a star, I want to make that clear, but he's a really good role player. And they have a bunch of other guys that have played fantastic ball with them. Now, they have a tough stretch right now, and I don't know if they're going to be a good playoff team. If you want to see my thoughts on the 76ers post-trading for James Harden, go watch my video. I have it a couple weeks ago. But I don't think Joel Embiid has been as dominant enough as of recent, which is important because we have gone back and forth over the past couple of weeks. I mean, this is not something that Joel has been far and above better and everyone is now catching up. It's been close all season. And Joel Embiid, I do feel a little bit bad for, because the man has had the lead for an MVP early or to the middle of the season and has lost it, in my opinion. I think he's lost it this year. And that leads me to Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis has had many great moments this season, and he's showed up on the mid-range. He's been one of the most dangerous mid-range players in the entire league, and no one's talking about it enough. He's also doing fantastic defensively. It's the same old Giannis that we've seen win back-to-back MVPs, win a championship, drop 50, and this is where I feel voter fatigue. And the reason why I'm going through each of these players' different criteria, if you haven't noticed, it's been different. Every single one of them has had a different criteria. Joel has been one of the best players on the best teams. I apologize for tapping the mic if that hurt your ears. Moving on. We have Jokic carrying a team like a Russell Westbrook type of team all the way into a playoffs. We have Giannis, who's one of the best players who have consistently been great, almost like a LeBron type of situation where people are like, well, he's the best player in the NBA, because damn it, Giannis is the best player in the league, and we have to accept that moving on. You have Jason Tatum bringing a team back after a slow start. I remember people trying to give Trae Young some MVP love. We have Luka Doncic throwing up amazing stats, almost triple-double like Russell Westbrook again. We have so many different criteria that we've seen over the past couple years. Like, two of these criteria that we've had this year, you could point at a couple years ago. And then another couple years behind that, you have two different criteria. And it's crazy to think that this is the one MVP in the sports that is so fluid. Like, it's so different compared to every other year. And it just seems to happen every year where we change it and we move it to fit what our players want. It's fine to admit that you want your favorite player to win MVP. I did the same thing for James Harden, and I adjusted my criteria from a year-to-year basis to fit what James Harden's been doing on the court. Let's just admit it, folks. Let's just accept that, instead of trying to lie to ourselves and say, well, you know, I don't think this guy's better than this guy just because, you know, I think this guy deserves it more. What does deserve mean to you when it comes to the MVP? And this conversation is really something that I'm trying to provoke you, the viewer, straight talking to you. Tell me who you think the MVP is and why, because I would love to respond to your comments. This is kind of me just talking about what the MVP is. I don't really have an opinion right now other than I think Giannis should win because I think he is the best player in the world and he's leading a great team to a great playoff position. And I think he's playing the best on both sides of the ball and he's continually improving and he's having fantastic moments and he's clutch and he's the best player in the league. So I think he's been the best player this year. So I give him the MVP as of recent, and I would not be mad if Jokic won it. Honestly, I wouldn't be mad if Embiid won it because I think this has been one of the best MVP races of all time. And let's just enjoy the greatness in front of us. But let me know down in the comments below, who is your MVP and why, because I would love to respond and kind of just talk with it. And thank you so much for watching. If you're at this point of the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. A lot of y'all who have been watching my videos are not subscribed. Please leave a sub. It really means the world to me. And honestly, if anything, just leave a comment down below sharing your thoughts about the MVP race. And honestly, with this coming out on Friday in a couple of days, things could have changed, honestly, but the criteria has not over the past couple of weeks. So these are kind of set in stone as we have a couple games left. So let me know who's going to win the MVP and why, and have a wonderful day.